Okay, so there's some other things I found out that I figured I'd go over. I kept finding a little more things here and there to talk about that I missed in my first video, so I'll go over them here, or you can just pause and read the little notepad thing there. One of the biggest things I want to point out is with all the faster animations, it means you have less SA and more downtime as a kuno, you know, more S blocking basically. I know we got a lower cooldown here, you know, and that does help, but you know, I still think it's less SA overall. Yeah, so first things first, flash step or flash slash. When you use it, that second teleport is iframe. That's actually pretty big. I didn't notice that before. This basically means it'll be even harder to grab you on the stiff, because you can, especially because you can always, you can always get the first teleport at least. So the skill is now basically unsafe, iframe, SA, iframe, SA. So yeah. So in 1v1s, if you're slow casting flash, you basically don't grab this anymore. If you're fighting a kuno, at least I don't think so. You'd have to. That'd be a crazy hard read. Possible, but very unlikely. Clone has no collision. So when you use SRB, you don't go through mobs. I found this to be very, very obnoxious and annoying when grinding, because oftentimes, you know, come up and you do this and you pull the mobs, and when they get over to you, you want to basically use clone because it hits an AoE around you where you first use it, and you want to use it to get behind the mobs to go into explosion to get the back attack. But it just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Yeah. This also means that in Node Wars, a lot of the times you're probably gonna, you know, do a retreat and you're gonna clone and you might run into somebody, friend or foe. So yeah, I don't like that. I wish, you know, at least if you use it via inputs, that it would have no collision on it. But it's not the end of the world. It's just something to like take note of mentally. One of the biggest things that I missed is that anytime you enter stealth, it's now iframe. So if I smokescreen, concealment now has iframe on the movement. This also works for Tendon, meaning Tendon is now a pretty strong, like, protected movement as well. It used to be very, very unsafe. That was one of the downsides to it. This makes it even stronger of a skill. So yeah. So now, you know, that's pretty good. Yeah. Good stuff. Heart snatch. Best I could tell in the patch notes, maybe I need to go read over it again because there's some things I just apparently missed, or maybe they didn't mention it, but the iframe has been increased. If you recall, it's about, on live, it's about the same as a ghost greeting, maybe even shorter, but now it's just a little bit longer now. It's still, you know, short, but I feel like it's just a smidge longer. Now if you like heart snatch and hold, you know, S and shift, there's only a very, very small gap. You still have the attack animation being unsafe, so you can't like heart snatch as they do an attack. See, I don't know if I don't know if the stream I'm recording is actually going to pick that up, but there's a very small gap there. Yeah. This basically means Assassin's Trail is completely useless because of all the mobility Awakening got. Sometimes Awakening Kunos would take Assassin's Trail for the extra iframe because you know they didn't have the survivability, but stupid reply. This basically with Ghost Step being full iframe and this just being a little more reliable, I don't think you ever take Assassin's Trail ever anymore. You know, they didn't really touch the skill. The DP still -10. I don't see why you would ever take this. Yeah. I think if you're low gear fighting low gear, maybe you take it for combos, but like that, because it's pet damage. So, you know, at lower gear, it'll do more, but at higher gear, will do far less. Yeah, so they did touch ground thrust. It's faster by a little bit. More about the fall. It's like the falling animation really is faster. It's kind of like an explosion here. The fuck? So, it's cool. I still don't think it's going to have much use, but it does have a niche use, I should say. So, you know, I can't complain. It just, now what, what is this for? Yeah, I think I complained that they didn't touch ground thrust, and that's just not true. Yeah, they do need to fix that tooltip though, because there's no shadow clone buff anymore. Just, it doesn't exist. But yeah, so, you know, if you ever had dreams of, you know, in a siege or something, dropping the ground thrust from a high spot, getting like 7 CCs, putting it in your montage, there you go, it's possible. Shadow Explosion, also, the jump version, is full SA. On the attack, on the wind up before the attack. So they really seem to want you to jump and use skills with, you know, this, and this, and this. So, yeah. Just something to note. They did mention it. I just didn't mention it in the other video. I don't like it. I don't like that they keep wanting us to jump to use skills. I think it makes sense kind of for ground thrust, given what this skill's supposed to do, but I just think this should just be SA anyway. Or forward guard, something. And that they should remove the split damage on it, as it still has it. But yeah, just, you know, something to note. So you can use it as SA damage if you double jump first. You can't single jump, you have to double jump. Which isn't the case for the kunai throw. You can just, you know. Iframe comes up faster on dance. Now, it feels like whenever I use the skill, it's immediately iframe. Not, it used to be like unprotected, and then as soon as you teleport, it's iframe. But it's like as soon as I hit the keys for it, it's iframe. I could just be tripping. Maybe I just need to go to live and, you know, spam dance a lot and see, but it really does feel like there's only a very small gap in the beginning now. So yeah, again, this means just more protections in general for our movement. Moonlight wasn't touched. This skill, as far as I could tell, they did absolutely nothing to it. The damage is the same, the attack animation, everything's the same. It's still our tier 3 add-on. It's still a 20-second cooldown. This is really, really bad. They didn't give us another tier 3 add-on like Ninja has, so this is still all we have. Yeah. This, you know, being able to get runes easier makes our grinding better, but, you know, it's, our AoEs are still small, and our tier 3 add-ons still on 20-second cooldown, so all in all, it's still pretty bad. Rune releases were changed. I didn't mention this in my video. This is kind of important for combos, if nothing else. Stomp rune release, which is the only one that really matters, is now Spirit and Ghost, which is Spirit, Ghost. I might have that backwards. I can't read Korean. So now you don't need the Ghost buff to use Stomp. Also, it doesn't consume the buffs when you use it. Only 3 runes consume. I may have mentioned that before, but I'll just mention it again anyway. So, you know, this basically opens up different combos from grab. You know, boom, boom. That gives you 2 rune stomp and 3 rune wheel in a single combo. That's huge. That's a lot of damage. It's really hard to test because, well, that happens. um, but sometimes, you know, especially on labs, you don't even get air attack on a lot of the hits. See 231 there. Because it's just so desyncy. All the damage applies and then the float applies because the server just is, you know, I'm very high ping, servers having trouble keeping up, you know, whatever it may be. But yeah, so the combo is like right there if you want to dick around, mess around, whatever. Tendon cancels pretty much anything. The only things I found that it doesn't cancel is Moonlight, all the bombs with the exception of Ankle Splitter and ebuff. That's it. Like, it cancels Clone, it cancels Shadow Explosion, it cancels After Stomp. Well, okay, it's not super fast After Stomp. Honestly, that might actually, I should probably add Stomp to that list. Because Smoke cancels After Stomp a bit faster, so I think that's just normal Tendon. But almost everything. Yeah, that doesn't cancel After Stomp. So add Stomp to that. Moonlight for bombs, except Ankle Splitter, ebuff, and Stomp. It's very, very good. You can, you know, this might actually make Shackles like usable because you can, you know, get that first hit and then just cancel it. But I mean, it's still very slow in the lineup anyway. I don't even think I hit him at all with it. Yeah. I still don't like that we, you know, how they changed Stomp for Succession Kuno. The teleport, TP float, whatever, still hurts us really, really hard. Yeah. I've been talking with Reezy about like whether or not we want to change it, and part of me wants to keep it this Tendon because it's, you know, this is really fun to use. It's faster, at least it feels faster, and it's a lot easier to move in the direction you want to go, while adjusting your direction. You know, when you use old Tendon, it's like you pick a direction and that's the direction you're going. With this, you know, you can kind of dance around opponents. It's very hard to control, and it's almost impossible to land the float because it's so fast. But like, you know, I think it'll make for dancing around opponents a bit easier. But at the same time, it's like you could just do normal Tendon to dance around opponents, and it's essentially the same thing. So overall, I still think this Tendon is a nerf for Succession Kuno. Great for Awakening Kuno, but not so good for Succession. I'd like to find a nice balance between this version of Tendon Cutter and the old one, because, you know, you can't have the LMB cancel and have the teleport float. We've seen how that plays out on live servers. It's very, very strong. So, you know, maybe they remove the LMB cancel, or maybe they could code it so that, you know, if you use the LMB cancel, you don't get the teleport. You only get the teleport float on the last hit, you know, after the third movement. That would be like ideal, but we'll see. Last thing, ebuff, Ghost Step still doesn't cancel and Stomp. You know, maybe one day we'll get it 3 years later. You know, it only took them that long to give us, you know, the same smoke screen concealment that ninjas have and the same concealment stealth that ninjas have. So, you know, maybe it'll just take them 3 years to fix this. If they ever do, I doubt it's very high on the list of priorities, but if there ever was a time for them to fix it, it would be right now. Oh, hey, look at that. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that I found. I just wanted to go over quickly because I know I missed some things in my first video. I might be missing more, but yeah. So that's about it. You know, thanks for watching. like or whatever, sub or don't. I don't care. I'm not a YouTuber. I just do this for fun and hopefully to get Kuno the buffs or nerfs it needs. So thanks for watching.